In tonight's Thursday night program, which normally is brief, but also keeping in mind the current situation that we are going through, I would like to talk about one of the common questions that I've been getting these days, and that is about the issue of dealing with Israeli products and companies. For example, on the website of the Grand Ayatollah Sistani, in the Arabic version, in Farsi and English, I didn't check the Urdu one, there are these questions and his responses have been there from many, many years. This is nothing new. Where basically, for example, one question was, and in the English part here it says, I know there is a company which is helping Israel monthly on a monthly basis. What is the fatwa about working in such a company and purchasing its products? And the answer given there is that it is not permissible to deal with Israeli products and products of companies which are known to be supporting Israel in an effective way. So the mas'ala is nothing new. Sometimes, in the social media, or you see, new fatwa of Ayatollah Sistani, or Sistani now has said this. These have been there for many, many years. There is nothing new. Let me just, emphasize on 2 points here. Number one, if you look at the emphasis that he has in the English version where he says, and this is there also in Arabic also, in an effective way. When I get the question, people already have been getting these in the social media and in emails, a long list of companies and products. Basically what it means is that everything is haram. And you have to be careful about it. Ayatollah Sistani is emphasizing on the point of where a company is supporting Israel in an effective way, or if I may replace that with actively. What it means is that not that a company which is doing business in Israel, you're not allowed to buy the products of that company. Which major company of the West does not do business in Israel? That even in traveling in planes, Boeing or Airbus will become haram. Not only that, even using the computers by which you send all these lists to people around, using that tool will become haram. So the issue is not whether the company works with Israel or has a branch there. The issue is that, is there a company, can you identify the owner or the company which actively gives donation to the state of Israel? Or for example, promotes the programs of settlers going into occupied land, which are all, even according to international law, they are illegal, what they do. So if you know that there is a company which is actively donating and supporting the state of Israel, then its products will become haram. To deal with it will become haram. Not that every company which deals with Israel becomes haram. The second thing is that the marja responds to a question. He doesn't give you the list of companies and products. People take that fatwa on one side and then they add this whole list of products with it, as if it is coming from the office of Ayatollah Sistani or other maraji. No, that's not the case. It is your duty to go and do the research, and once you find out, and it's not difficult, you can do that, and then you will have to refrain from it. Is the masala clear here? Salawat for the Akbar. What is the basis, Shar'i, religious basis of this fatwa, or this kind of fatwa? There is nothing new. This is not a new ijtihad. In the Shi'i fiqh from day one, there is a concept known as i'anatul zalama. I'anatul zalama, which means helping the oppressors. This concept has been there in the Shi'i fiqh from the days of the Imams alayhimus salam. And they have strongly asked the Shias that you have to refrain from any job or any business dealing where you become the tool of the oppressors. And this is termed as i'anatul zalama. And so there's a whole discussion about whether you are allowed to work for the government or not. Amal sultan. This is jaiz or haram. And this became a very serious issue when soon during the early era of the Ghaibatis Kubra, when Ali Buya came to power. Ali Buya were the ministers from Ali Buya family, which were Shia. They became powerful in Baghdad, and the Khalifa during those days became like a puppet. And some of our Shia ulama were kind of cooperating with Ali Buya, government. And so this question came up. And this is the days of Sayyid Murtaza, brother of Sayyid Rizvi, who compiled Nahj al-Balagha. And Sayyid Murtaza was a prominent mujtahid of the time. He ended up writing a risala, extensive, article, essay on this issue. Where it is allowed, where it is not allowed. What are the conditions where you can work with a government which is not legitimate from the Shari'i point of view. Where you have to refrain. So this is not something which is new. This has been there. And so any trade or business or profession that involves i'anatul zalama, helping the oppressor, is forbidden and considered to be one of the major sins. One way where we identify a major sin is where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the Quran relates the sin to the fire of Jahannam. And when it comes to i'anatul zalama, there is an ayat from Surah Hud, Surah number 11, ayat 113, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا إِلَى الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا. Do not be inclined towards those who are unjust. Remember the word of choice, the choice of words here by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَلَا تَرْكَنُوا, rukun here. Do not be inclined towards those who are unjust. Otherwise, what will happen? لَتَمَسَّكُمُ النَّارِ. The fire will hold you, get you, touch you. So the issue of fire is being related to this issue of being inclined towards those who are zalimeen and unjust. And so we have this ayat of Quran, and based on that, we have this concept of the hurmat of i'anatul zalama. You cannot cooperate and support those who are obviously the unjust ones. Of course, there is a very extensive jurisprudential discussion about it. What are the cases where it's allowed? The examples we have even from the days of the Imams, where they would allow some of their companions to work with the government, and some they would refuse. They would say, you are not capable of handling this situation. And so this is where we have to realize that, this is nothing new. And so when you hear this kind of fatwa, basically it's saying that dealing with any company that effectively supports Israel, by dedicating, for example, a percentage of its profit to the state of Israel, or supporting its illegal settlements in the occupied territory, is definitely and absolutely haram. Salawat.